Hey everybody, happy Monday to you on this last Monday in August. Can't believe the month already winding down. It is another chance for us to get together for fellowship and enjoy another hour of programming right here on Virginia This Morning. I'm Amy Lacey with Mr. Bill Bevins, also known as Mr. B. Hi, good morning and happy Monday to you.
All right, folks, we are happy that you're spending part of your day with us. Hope everybody had a great weekend. You couldn't ask for much better weather than we had this weekend.
It was glorious, and you were down at the river.
I was at the river.
Had a chance to explore some new places, too.
Went to Gwynn's Island, never been there after 30 years of being down there, never been over there, and it was fantastic. I got a little exercise for us this morning.
Okay, let's go.
Five words that you can say that will make somebody else smile.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
I think...
all right, I got a couple just to get you started.
Okay, how about, go ahead.
You've got a great kid.
That's a really good one. I was going to say cute little squishy baby toes, because, you know, little babies are so cute, and I think it makes people smile.
Okay.
But that's maybe the mama bear in me, you know?
You always brighten my day. That's five.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. You don't have to keep going with it. You can stay with your squishy.
Little squishy baby toes.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't do so bad for not knowing about this assignment until we got on the air, so we're gonna ease into Monday with some kind of fun word games. Let me think about it, and we'll maybe have some more later in the show.
To it. Okay.
We'll do it a little bit later.
All right.
We have some other fun ahead here on this Monday. Our friends at Virginia State University College of Agriculture are proud of the impactful work they do within the community. They're having an upcoming themed event called A Taste of Randolph Farm, featuring a farm-to-table experience with locally produced foods. Chef Reese is here with a tasty preview. The Southern Pineapple Catfish, that's on the menu, coming up in our second half hour.
That makes me smile.
Yeah.
It was more than 5 words, but it works. All right, Kyle Davis is a contemporary singer-songwriter who's a native of Hopewell, Virginia, but he has made a name for himself on both the national and local music scenes and has shared the stage with Bob Dylan, Hall & Oates, Sheryl Crow. He is a favorite with opening acts. His latest music video, Old Habits, is out. We'll watch the full version in our second half hour, but first, here's a preview.
I don't know why this world ain't giving more than it takes. Wanted to change some things, but old habits.
And back to school season is in full swing. Today, Dr. Kristen Glover will share some tips to help parents and students navigate this busy time of year. Our conversation is coming up a little later this morning.
Looking forward to that. We'll launch into our live show right after a quick check on the local Monday forecast with Tom Patton. Getting a little warm again, Tom.
Yeah. Good morning. It's starting to heat up a bit. I love the squishy baby toes.
Right, thank you, Tom.
And the thing, Amy, is you being so passionate about the squishy baby toes opens up some nice wackiness that, you know, I'm just going to tell you this, the wackier you can become, the wackier I tend to be as well.
I can be very wacky, Tom. Very wacky.
But that's
There's nothing wacky about squishy baby toes, though.
Well, you know, when you say, what was the question? What
the five words that make you smile. Or, yeah.
What was it? Little squishy baby toes? Or...
You know, something along those lines.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, come on.
What you got, Tom?
I don't.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's very difficult, yes.
It's very hard.
How about, oh boy, you again? Oh, that's 4. No.
How about Tom Patton is fantastic, super, for 5 words.
Okay, that's good. We can work with that one. A lot of syllables there, but very nice nonetheless. And Bill, you had, what was it?
You got a great kid.
You got a great kid. All right, good.
Okay. You carry yourself with grace is another one. I was like, ooh.
Oh, you carry yourself with grace. Very nice. Okay. All right. I'll start using those.
You always brighten my day, Tom.
Well, thank you, Bill.
That's 5 words.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Okay, good. All right, well, very nice. And we'll take that with the thought of the squishy baby toes. By the way, the squishy baby toes
That comes right after a little baby, and he said, "Let me get some of that neck sugar."
All right.
All right,
I don't
you
think I've
said
ever
wacky,
that.
didn't you? Didn't you
that
say
to a
wacky?
baby,
yeah,
but-
yeah. The little baby fat on the neck.
So cute.
Get in there.
I get it, Bill.
Okay.
No, I'm there. I love it. I like when I see like a really cute baby. I'll go to the parent and I'll be like, I don't know how that baby still has a face because I would have eaten that face right off.
Get right in there.
Yeah, just
Yep.
get right in there, and so there you go. All right. Let's open it. Let's show you what's going on today. As we started this segment with some hot weather, some hot talk, so to speak. Went off the rails a little, but that's all right. A beautiful blue sky. It's up to 73. Our dew points creeping up a little bit as well. Did I just get a 15-second cue? Oh, let's make it quick. I'm sorry, talked a little too long. Gonna get hot, folks, as Bill said. Could see an isolated storm this afternoon. Maybe a marginal risk up to the northern neck. You can see you guys may get a storm probably after 3-ish, somewhere in there. And we may get one here in town a little closer to 6, 7 o'clock. All right, that's it. Virginia This Morning will continue right after this.
Oh, sunshine, you've been gone too long, but I'm telling you, I'm magnificent.
Pop, pop, pop. Good Monday morning to you. It's just after 9 o'clock. That means Virginia This Morning is in full swing. Amy Lacey and I are proud to be your host of this one-of-a-kind talk and entertainment show. I'm Bill Bevins.
Hey, Mr. B, it's good to be here with you on this Monday, continuing the fun from the weekend because you were down at the river.
I was.
I caught up on a lot of things around the house, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. The weather was just like, what a nice little break. And then I had looked ahead and saw Tom's forecast and knew, yeah, it's coming back. The heat's coming back. But we're just really grateful for a fantastic weather weekend.
Well, it is going to be another great week here on Virginia This Morning. Despite the warmer temperatures, I can just feel it already. We have a lot in store, so let's get started for you on this Monday.
Okay, if today is your first time watching our show, welcome. Hope you enjoyed as much as we do. Just before the break, we shared a few highlights of some of what is coming up on today's show. Here is a quick recap.
So exciting here. Chef Reese is here making her debut in our kitchen this morning, part of the culinary team of experts at Virginia State University College of Agriculture. They're excited about their upcoming community field day, which includes the themed event, A Taste of Randolph Farm. We'll enjoy a tasty preview of what will be featured from their farm-to-table menu. Catfish is on the menu in our studio this morning. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Looks great over there, too. And today, Dr. Kristen Glover joins us to share some tips for families as we settle into the new school year.
And of course, we still have some warm days ahead of us before fall officially starts. And having your air conditioner working properly is key. Here's our latest conversation with a local company about why you need to invest in early inspection and maintenance of your home's HVAC unit.
This segment is sponsored by FH Fur.
This summer has been a hot one. With extreme heat, it's incredibly important to keep your air conditioning systems in top shape. Nathan Sable, General Manager at FH Fur, joins us to share a few tips to keep the AC running this season. Thanks for being here, Nathan.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and talk to your audience.
So it always seems like just when the mercury rises, that's when you start to have the problems. How can we prevent that from happening?
Well, there's a lot of things people can do to make sure their AC system's working properly. We recommend annual maintenance. Keeping those systems regularly maintained is critical to making sure you don't lose AC in the middle of summer. So we recommend 2 HVAC inspections a year, a heating and a cooling, and that's going to make sure your system's working optimally. Just like you take your car to get an oil change, you want to do the same thing with your HVAC system.
For energy efficiency, what should people be setting that thermostat on to make sure that they're getting through the season and it doesn't conk out whenever we need it the most?
Well, there's a lot of things. We recommend smart thermostats. Kind of can sense what you normally do. If you're on vacation or if you work from home, it can kind of put your systems at the proper level they need to be. So that's a critical thing that we recommend.
We are, of course, too, in the middle of hurricane season. And what can people do for before, during, after potential emergency situations to be prepared?
Well, definitely knowing a storm is about to come is critical, preparing for it. We recommend cooling your house down before a big storm's going to hit. If a storm does hit, maybe turning off your system while the storm is occurring, that will protect your HVAC system. But some other things, preventative nature things that you can do is get proper surge protection on your HVAC system, and whole home surge protection will help that and make sure that you're protecting your HVAC system and electronics in your home.
It really just sounds like, too, that being aware that there are some steps that you need to be taking, that can really mean the difference between it being in running order and not.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, you want to know storms coming and prepare properly for it.
What are some steps that we can all do that we can just keep that system running and just really make it a great season for everyone?
Great question. We recommend cleaning your coils yearly. You know, an HVAC system, it's a cool, dark, damp place. Biological growth can grow in there. And having that will lose efficiency of your system. So you want to make sure you're cleaning your coils properly, as well as looking at your duct systems. We recommend cleaning your duct systems regularly. Lots of dust and debris can get in there, and stop airflow from properly circulating through your home. And as well as cleaning your filters. Regularly cleaning your filters, replacing them is critical, and make sure you're not suffocating that system. So that's a key thing that customers should need to do.
I was going to ask you about the air filters, because it is so important to even put it on your calendar whenever you are maybe changing your batteries in your smoke detector, and just make it part of the routine, because it can mean the difference between even higher bills and lower bills, and keeping things more affordable.
Yeah, definitely in peak season you want to change that out monthly. There's more modern air filters out there that you only have to change once a year, so you don't have to you don't have to remember. So those are things that people might want to invest in if they forget.
Such important information, because this is something that we all have in our homes. So it's great that you can come on in here and keep our seasons a little bit better for all of us.
For sure, of course, happy to be here.
Thank you for your time today. For more information, give FH Fur a call at 877-CALL-FUR, or visit the website fhfur.com. Connect on social media as well. Virginia This Morning returns after a quick break. Welcome back. The back-to-school season is an exciting time for students and their families, but it can also cause stress and anxiety. Today, Dr. Kristen Glover, Director of Behavioral Health at Henrico Doctors Hospital, joins us to share strategies parents and caregivers can use to help their children navigate potential stressors of a new school year. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
As we were talking during the break, this is such an exciting time, but it can bring that stress, all the unknowns of the year, and maybe some repeats from last year, maybe some behaviors that kids experience. How can folks navigate that?
So I think it's important to, like you said, a lot of people get excited at back to school time, but it also can bring a lot of stress and anxiety. So understanding what those stressors could look like. It could be academic, not knowing what schoolwork you're going to have, or a challenging new grade for students, social stressor, so a new peer group or bullying, and just the transition itself from a less structured summer routine into a structured school routine.
It's all a part, too, of creating that safe space at home. How can parents and caregivers, how can they really create that for the students in their lives?
So I think a lot of times we as adults forget that children's brains are still developing, so a lot of these emotions, very complex emotions, are very new to them. So creating a safe space for them to be able to talk about them, identify them, and navigate them. So I like to say a 10-15 minute check-in each day as a family. It could be at dinner, it could be on a family walk, but to really check in about how they're feeling and help them navigate through those stressors and emotions.
It's a complex period of time, because you have those academic stressors, for instance, if they are maybe struggling in a particular subject. Then you have that's peer group, that social stressor. How can, if kids maybe don't want to talk about it, how can parents and caregivers get them to maybe open up a little bit?
So I think it's important to collaborate with the team that you have at school, the counselors, teachers, healthcare professionals, because the biggest indicator that something's happening is a change in behavior. So the more people that you have that are observing your child and communicating about it, the sooner that you can put some supports in place. And I think it's also important to focus on physical health as well. So balanced diet, sleep schedules, even having a very structured routine in the evening time can be helpful.
And then there's the added pressures too that many generations did not have, but that they do now with social media, and that the school day doesn't necessarily end when the school day ends. How can, I guess, parents keep closer tabs on what might be happening there online?
So again, just monitoring screen time, even limiting it. So knowing that before bed, it's very important to have limited screen time so their brain has time to kind of switch off and relax to be able to have an adequate sleep schedule. And then just really keeping an eye on their behavior, and any changes in behavior is important.
How important is it too to just normalize mental health conversations and make it an ongoing part of growing up in this particular family?
Absolutely. So making sure that you're talking about mental health in your household as something that is normal, and it's okay to feel those emotions. As parents, maybe even becoming educated on what mental health looks like, stigmas around it, and what resources and supports are available.
Do you think that really these kinds of conversations at home can help with that overall breaking of stigmas to make really our communities more able to talk about these topics?
Absolutely. So if we're creating a safe space at home where they can say, hey, I'm kind of feeling this way, I don't really know what this means or what this looks like or even how to navigate it. If you provide the tools and the education that it's okay to feel this way, and here are some supports to help you get through it, then that will transfer through their school environment to the peer group and into other communities.
If families, if parents, caregivers perhaps say, you know, maybe this is bigger than me, how can they pursue getting more supports for their students?
Again, relying on the team that they have at school, so their counselors, their teachers, and as always, if anyone's experiencing a mental health crisis, calling or texting with 988 to get the immediate resources and support.
What kinds of resources or help are available at Henrico Doctors Hospital?
So Henrico Doctors Hospital, HCA Virginia, we do have some inpatient levels of care for individuals. We also have partial hospitalization, intensive outpatient. So regardless of the symptomology and the severity, there are supports in place.
Is it important too for parents, just as you said, keeping tabs on the students, knowing behavioral changes and that, but knowing who the other students are that are around them, maybe attending those school events, going to the parent-teacher nights, and just getting to know the individuals who their students are likely seeing for many more hours a day than they're seeing their own families.
Oh yes, that's very important. So being as in tune with not only your child's mental health, but also seeing what's going on in the peer groups or even the school community or the community where they live.
How has this school environment really changed over past decades as far as, you know, what maybe even my generation had to what is out there today?
I think the rigor and demand academically has changed over the years, and as we were talking about earlier, the stressors that we may have felt when we were younger are only exacerbated by social media because as soon as you come home, you still have access to everything with your peer group, cyberbullying, etc.
So this is such important information. We want every student to have as successful of a year as possible, so we thank you so much for bringing this conversation to us and really helping families navigate anything that comes their way.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. For more information, visit our show website by early this afternoon. That's virginiathismorning.com. Mr. B, I'm sending it over to you.
Thank you, ladies. All right, folks, you have a chance to join the CBS 6 team as we participate in the 11th annual Speak Up 5K, sponsored by Dominion Payroll. It benefits the great work of the Cameron K. Gallagher Foundation. This signature event raises awareness for teen mental health, and CBS 6 is proud to be a sponsor. You can register for the 5K by scanning that QR code on your screen. It's being held September 7th at beautiful Bird Park. Stay tuned, there's much more in store right after a quick break.
Welcome back to our live Monday show. Here's a reminder to save the date. You can join us to help raise money for the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Richmond. This year's Red Shoe Rendezvous Gala is set for September 16th at the Dominion Club in Glen Allen. The theme this year is 60s Palm Springs. To purchase tickets, just scan the QR code on your screen. And if you buy those tickets before September 2nd, you can save up to $50. Recently, one of our contributors, Courtney Dean, caught up with a representative from United Healthcare. Here's that conversation.
This segment is sponsored by United Healthcare.
There are important steps parents can take to help their children transition mentally and emotionally for the new school year. Here to talk about this timely topic is Dr. Joydip Roy, Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare Mid-Atlantic. Good morning, Dr. Roy. Thank you for being here.
Hey, good morning, and thanks for having me.
Yes, and can you talk about some things parents can do to help ease that transition for their kids?
Yeah, one of the big things is really recreating and reestablishing routines. The summertime is a great time, but kids usually often go to bed later and get up later, and so we need to reestablish those routines. So knowing what time the children need to wake up and then what time is bedtime, and reestablish that a week to 2 weeks in advance. Also screen time, probably over the summertime there was a lot of more utilization of screen time, and limiting that screen time is going to be important, as well as know when to turn those off, because you don't want to utilize those screens right up to bedtime, because that's going to keep those kids awake. Additionally, for pre-K students and kindergarten students, skills around independence is a big thing. So developing that sense of independence, having them dress themselves, putting in their own shoes, washing their own hands, cleaning up after their meals and wiping their mouths is very important. They also need to understand they can always ask an adult for help, but getting those independent skills going is important for those children.
Now, what about doctor's visits? Is this a good time to schedule that preventive care, kind of those visits with your pediatrician?
Absolutely. During the summertime, one of the challenges is that oftentimes as kids grow a year older, those well child visits are not done over the summertime. So this is a perfect opportunity to get those visits done. It's a time for you to understand your child's healthcare needs better. It's also a time the pediatrician can really assess your child's physical growth as well as emotional health before school starts. It's also additional good time to get those physical forms filled out if your child's going to be participating in organized sports, immunizations, as well as getting updated. And it's a good time to get those questions answered as well. But if you're not sure what to ask, United Healthcare has a printable preventative care checklist that you can take into a visit.
Well, and you did mention the emotional part of it. What can parents do? I know in our house it's always a bit of an emotional time on both sides. What can parents do to help their children emotionally prepare for the new school year?
Yeah, mental health is a big area of issue and concern for many parents and many people in general. So one of the important things is really have those discussions started at home. Checking in with your child about how they're feeling and how things are going, what stresses they're having, is very important to have those lanes of communication open. Make sure to be supportive. As children bring up things, make sure that you validate how they're feeling and help them understand it's possible to feel better as well. Because when the bigger issues do come up, and they will in time, you want to make sure that your child feels they have a trusted lane of communication with you, so they can bring those up without any concern on their part.
Well, and you mentioned the checking in. How can you monitor their mental health if maybe they're not forthcoming with information? What can you do to check that throughout the year?
Yeah, oftentimes, mental health spills into our behaviors, right? And so there's some things to be watchful for is like persistent sadness, bouts of extreme irritability, sudden mood changes, changes in eating habits or sleeping habits for that matter. So sleeping more, sleeping less, frequent headaches or stomach aches, difficulty concentrating, avoiding social interactions. These can all be things that may be related to a child's mental health. So you really want to bring those up with your healthcare provider.
Such great information and so important for all of us to keep an eye on. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Roy. And to learn more about United Healthcare, just visit uhc.com. Virginia This Morning returns in less than 3 minutes.
segment is sponsored by Richmond Water.
Welcome back. There is a new sustainable hydration solution company in RVA, and they will have a great impact in our communities. Here to tell us all about it is Will Melton, the CEO of Exponent 21 and founder of Richmond Water brand, which is part of Exponent 21. Welcome to Virginia this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We just had a brief second to chat for a moment, and this is so interesting. You know, we all look at the way things have changed as far as water from when I was a kid and just drank it right from the tap, and then plastic bottles come along, and then we see, wait a minute, it's plastic. You know, that can be a problem. And so you've got the next phase. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so when I first was thinking about this problem with plastic, starting a bottled water brand was not the solution that came to mind. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the only way to stop the tide of plastic is to replace it on the shelf where people buy it with something that's not plastic. So, the first solution is to replace it on the shelf with something that's a different material. Now, this is refillable, so people that buy this, that we're encouraging people to collect it, we'll only make 25,000 of the bottle with this particular design on it. Our artists who've designed this are really great, well-known local artists.
So this bottle, obviously, I was overlooking at it before we got started. It has an expired date on it. Is that on the bottle?
That's on the water inside.
And the water inside.
Yeah, so
the bottle will last a long time.
Yeah.
So they're refillable and obviously reusable, and that's the whole idea. And you got into the artwork a little bit. This is pretty cool artwork on this one.
Yeah, so this is Hamilton Glass. He's a very well-known muralist, probably the most prolific muralist in Richmond. And he was gracious enough to give us access to this piece of art that he had in his library, and kind of gave us some different ones to look at. And this one really worked with the brand that we designed.
Yeah.
But he's not the only artist that's on this bottle. Noah Scalin is the artist who designed the font. If you look closely, these are little tiny skulls, and this was part of his Skull a Day project, award-winning project, where he designed a different skull every day of the year. So we were, these artists were gracious to, we paid them, of course, for their work, but it's great to work with locals.
And you do have to look close and to see all the art that's on there, and that's very, very cool. Let's talk a little bit about where you can actually find these.
Sure. So we're small. We're just getting started. We've been doing this for about a year, and you can see us in Sefton Coffee downtown. You can see us at the Valentine Museum. You can get us at the Richmond Volleyball Club. So we're working on that part of things, but we're also going to events where it's hot outside and making sure people have a sustainable way to hydrate.
All right, so is that what this machine that's beside you is?
Yeah, so this is our new sustainable hydration station. So this is portable. This goes, this is an outdoor unit. So we can take this to any event where we have a hose hookup or a fire hydrant that we can tap into. And this works entirely off of water pressure. There's a little battery in here that controls the sensor. So
you hook a hose up to that?
A hose up to it, yeah.
So that's like that filter system we have in the house on steroids.
Yep.
Basically.
It's
and can do a lot of water.
Yeah. So the filter in this will do 22,000 liters before we have to swap it out.
Wow.
And you can get the worst tasting water in Richmond and run it through this, and it'll taste great.
Fantastic. So you're going out to events. Obviously, that's a great way for folks to get to know you a little bit. Obviously, this is an idea who's definitely on time with people, because we all look at those plastic bottles and like, this is such a waste to do this. So this we can keep. The bottle will obviously last. It's what metal is that?
So it's aluminum. It's aluminum. It's a little bit thicker than a can that you would normally put soda in, so it'll last a little bit longer.
Okay. All right. If you had to say one thing that you want to get out about your product, the water, the bottle, the whole thing, what would it be?
So now's the time to end the tide of single-use plastics. We hope to bring 200 of these to the region in the next 2 years. So everywhere you see people gather, city streets, parks, trails, Any place where people are, whether it's an event or some stationary units as well, we'll pay for these with sponsorships from other businesses that want to see sustainable hydration proliferate. And I was just sitting in the Department of Public Utilities executive meeting the other day, and the gentleman that runs operations for them was saying, we pull so many plastic bottles of water out of that basin where they clean the water that it's unbelievable. So we really want to make a difference here.
I love this idea. All you ladies who have those giant, look like coffee mugs that you carry your water in that weigh 14 pounds, this makes a lot more sense to me. So thank you for bringing that in, and good luck with the future, and hopefully we'll start seeing these all over the place. And of course, best of luck. Richmond Water Exponent 21 Inc. is located at 1528 Moore Street, Unit B, right here in Richmond. You can give them a call at 888-978-4918. Visit them online at drinkrichamondwater.com and find them on social media too. Amy, it's great because it's been recommended that people should drink a minimum of 6 to 8 cups of water a day, and now you got a reusable bottle.
That's right. I think, Bill, that's why everybody's carrying around those water bottles these days, because it is really great to stay hydrated. We have featured his music live in studio. Kyle Davis is a talented singer-songwriter based in Richmond. He's made it to the national stage by performing with the likes of John Mayer, Bob Dylan, and Sheryl Crow, just to name a few. Kyle is constantly working on new music, and he sent us this special presentation, the official music video for his song, Old Habits. Check it out.
Forgotten worse than being alone. You fade to patina and they all assume you're stoned. I was born in France, still got friends, but they've changed. And Bedloe Island feels more like a cage. What good is a crown? I'm not the queen of anything. I don't know why this flame is such a heavy weight. I don't know why this world ain't giving more than it takes. Wanted to change some things, but old habits are hard to break. I'm not shooting fish in a barrel, I've denied it. I might try art, I heard Picasso's dead or dying. I wanna be a wild heart and wander through the Western world. I don't ever look back, but I'm feeling the cracks. And all this anger's giving drink to drown in me. I don't know why this flame is such a heavy weight. I don't know why this world ain't giving more than it takes. I wanna change some things, but old habits are hard to break. Thinking like ships from shore, seemed you tired and poor. It's not me anymore. Stumbled through, fenced the wall, had enough but wanted more. You repeat yourself again, and I don't know. I don't know why this flame is such a heavy weight. I wanna give more than I take.
All right, once again, that's our friend Kyle Davis, and we hope to have him back to perform live in our studio before the end of the year. Now I'm in the kitchen this morning with our friend Chef Reese from Virginia State University College of Agriculture. We are going to get a tasty preview, the upcoming Farm to Table experience that's coming up right after our quick break. Welcome back. From time to time, an early lunch is going to be served courtesy of our next guest. She is part of the Virginia State University College of Agriculture.
They are looking forward to their community field day that will feature their event, A Taste of Randolph Farm. We welcome Chef Reese to our live show. Thank you for bringing in a catfish recipe today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for featuring Virginia State University, especially the College of Agriculture. And now we try to always bring in everybody and bring in the community and try to invite everybody to join in on the festivities, as well as participating with the environment, as well as participating with what's going on with our college.
Chef, you and I had a chance to talk. We've talked a little bit before we actually came on camera. This farm is in Ettrick, right there at the university, and when you said farm, I just assumed it was like produce and, vegetables and things like that. No, there's a lot more, isn't there?
No, it's a lot more. So the farm features not only vegetables, it features berries, it also features catfish, trout, striped bass, shrimp, cattle, goat, sheep. They feature a lot of things that's going on. Now, everything that they do is all on a research basis and making sure that the students are involved as much as they are willing to look up different avenues to figure out how to take over like climate control issues and stuff like that, and making sure that our food is sustainable in everything that we do.
And talk about farm to table. You said that this catfish Thursday is when you got your hands on it. So this is very fresh.
It is. So the catfish was actually drained from the pond, actually processed from the farm as well, and made sure that they cut it up, they skinned it, they raised it, they took care of it for us, and then they delivered it to me first thing Thursday morning.
Wow. All right, so let's get started. What's step one on preparing this delicious food?
The first thing we are going to do is we are going to work on our catfish. So our catfish is going to be like a traditional southern fried catfish. So we have about 4 fillets here. So what we're going to do is season them up with a little salt and pepper to make sure that they are well seasoned underneath of our breading. So then what happens?
Gets locked in, doesn't it?
It gets locked in. So now I like to use white pepper when it comes to actually seasoning fish, because black pepper, it actually gets dark.
Okay.
So when you fry it,
it gets dark, or the fish gets dark. When you say it gets dark,
the breading on the outside, when you cook it, it actually gets darker.
Oh, okay.
So it actually fries too quick. So when the garlic is actually frying, what happens is the garlic fries quick too, and then it's going to turn your breading black. So you don't want that.
No, you want a golden color.
Yeah, you want a golden color. So all we're going to do is just make sure it's well seasoned.
White pepper.
Okay. Well seasoned on the outside of our fish. So then we make sure that it's all seasoned throughout. Then now we're going to drop it in our buttermilk. Get a nice drag
go for
going.
a little swim there.
Yeah.
Last swim.
Exactly. You're going to drop it in our buttermilk so then we can make sure it gets a nice coating, so we can get it nice and crispy on the outside. Now our oil has been heating up, so our oil is actually nice and ready for us. It should be hot enough.
How do you know it's ready to go? Is there a way before you test it?
I'm guessing where you cook all the time, you do know exactly. But
well,
here,
what about me? How would I know when it's ready?
So the trick is, what most people do is what they do is take a little bit of flour and see if it's starting to sizzle up on us.
Okay.
Just a test.
Just a test.
There we go.
It's getting there.
So it got a little sizzle. It's enough so that it's gonna sizzle when we start cooking it. So what I did is also put in our seasonings, our garlic powder, our cayenne pepper, and our smoked paprika into our dredge, into our flour, because you want to make sure your fish is seasoned up as well as your flour. Because when you taste it, you want your layers of flavor, all right? So then we're gonna mix that up. So notice I had a wet hand and I had a dry hand. So you don't wanna mix your flour, so then you're with your wet hand, because what happens?
It gets
lumpy.
clumpy.
It gets all clumpy. So we don't want that. We don't want that. So you gotta always make sure that you have two hands, one wet, one dry.
Very nice.
So we're gonna put it in our seasoned flour and cornmeal mixture. Now it's about 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of cornmeal and a half a cup of flour.
And then you just toss it around.
Yeah, just toss it around, make sure it gets a nice coat, nice even coat on all the sides of the fish. Now, our fillets aren't too big, so they're not gonna take too long to cook. They should take about 6 to 7 minutes on the actual fillets at the most, but you wanna just cook them until they are golden brown.
And if you had obviously a huge piece of fish, it would take longer.
It will take longer because you wanna make sure you cook it all the way through. So, now our flour is
I'm
also.
gonna step back here just in case.
You're
Get
fine,
on
you're
this
fine,
side.
you're fine, you're fine.
Get out of your way.
Safe distance.
Our catfish is all seasoned up, so what we're gonna do is we are gonna drop it away from ourselves.
There we go. There's
Now,
that sizzle.
You do, you see that sizzle? So what you wanna do with anything that you're frying, you want a soft sizzle. You want it to sound like rain.
Okay.
So if it sounds like the pitter patter of rain on your window, then you know you hit the right temperature.
Now, will you turn that at all, or will you just leave it like that?
Well, right now, because of how much oil I have in there, I do not have to actually turn it.
Okay.
So I can actually let it go by itself. And then once we check it, because it's so shallow and it's so deep that we won't have to flip it, we won't have to do anything, it will just work by itself.
Let's get this slaw going too. Is that what that is, a slaw?
It is a slaw. So what we're gonna do is make a pineapple slaw.
Here, I'm gonna switch sides with you to
Fine,
give you
you're
more
fine.
space.
So we have a red cabbage, a green cabbage. We have red onions, carrots, and then we have our diced up pineapples. But first we have to make our actual dressing. So we have our mayo, which is just a Hellman's mayo, it's about 1/4 cup. All right, so we put that in there. Then we have our apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
So it's just like a traditional slaw. So then we have a little bit black pepper in there, so we're gonna add in there as well.
Just a taste, I'm sure.
Yeah, just a taste. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some honey.
Honey.
So honey for the sweetness. So it's not overpowering, but then it still has a little bit of flavor for you, right? Then we're gonna mix it up so it gives our consistency that we want. Now you can add salt, you can add as much pepper as you want. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's all about your taste buds, all right?
All right, so while we're working on that, and while this is sizzling over here, we're gonna take a quick break. Stay there. We're gonna stay in the kitchen here. After the break, Chef Reese is going to let us do a little sample when we come back.
That's what we went. And in the meantime, here's some information to pass along to you. Virginia State University College of Agriculture is hosting their Community Field Day this Thursday, August 29th at their Randolph Farm as part of their themed event, A Taste of Randolph Farm. It's from 7:30 a.m. to noon at the VSU Randolph Farm, located at 4415 River Road in Petersburg. For more information, visit our show website at virginiathismorning.com.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thanks for coming back from the break. We are ending things on Virginia This Morning in the kitchen with Chef Reese from Virginia State University College of Agriculture.
And we put together that slaw during the break. We're just
did.
waiting for the catfish to cook up just a little bit more.
We are waiting for it just to get that nice golden brown color, so then it's nice and crunchy when you eat it, and it gives that southern flair, that southern crunch that you love.
And you said that you have to leave it. You have to put it in there and forget about it until it finishes so you don't break that that seal.
You do, because if you start messing with it, what happens to the breading? Because don't you hate when the breading comes off of the actual fish or it comes off of your chicken when you're frying it? Now that's just because we moved it around too much and messed with the dish while it was messing or while it was going through, or the product while it was going through. So it's like we broke that seal from it.
I asked you a question about the pineapple and whether you drained all the juice off of it, because it does seem to have some juice in it.
It does. So what I did with the pineapple is I cut it up, and then because it didn't have enough sweetness, I added a little bit of coconut water to it so it actually rehydrated it, and it actually brought it back to life. So it gave us a little bit more liquid, a little bit more flavor for our slaw. So, because a lot of our sweetness is coming from our honey and our pineapple.
On the plate? Can we plate one?
We can.
Let's do it.
We can.
All right.
We can get it. It looks like one is coming up and ready. Now, you can cook it as long as you want. You can cook it as short as you want. But it's all about making sure that it has the crispiness.
It looks beautiful, Chef.
We'll put the finished product on social media.
Southern pineapple catfish.
Love it. Thank you for coming in today, and thank you for having an event and opening your farm to the community.
Thank you to all our guests today. Most importantly, thank you for joining us on Virginia This Morning.
The fun always starts at 8:56 a.m.